medical reasons. It may be, I just press continue.
Yes.
Yes. It may be a trip to Halifax, a trip to Kentville, wherever the need might be. So it's good for the community to hear that and understand it. And, or it just could be to one of the day programs that is in operation, or for grocery shopping. Now, it's important to point out with the transportation program, there is no direct fee at the time. There is no cost to the person, to the client, but of course, any donation would be appreciated. But it's not the big point. This is a transportation program that VON offers to this community. Volunteers would be helpful with the foot care clinic that VON hosts. And then we get to the community corporation, which presently I am the chair. And there would be 7 other directors. We would love to have 10. It's always good to have more. And just for you to know that there are a total of 10 in the province, 10 community corporations. So, and then we report to the provincial body and onward up to the national body. The office is staffed with a part-time admin assistant and also our newly hired community support coordinator. The community support coordinator is Heather Kelly. You're probably aware of that. And the office is on Carton Street. We do have a Queen's VON Facebook page, and that can be very helpful in terms of keeping up with some things that are going on with VON. And I'm just going to summarize to say that because the volunteers are a crucial part of things, and even in spite of COVID, some volunteers have definitely hung in there. The nursing staff had to, it was an essential service. But with COVID-19, it's certainly created some challenges. And again, because this week is really designated for staff and volunteers, I think it's a time to be so deeply appreciative and grateful that we do have them in Queens County, and they belong to Queens County. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to this and that you do have it as an agenda item. I'm very pleased about that, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy. Your role in the community as part of the community cooperatives is very thankful, and we're thankful for all the VON staff and the workers, and very grateful, and we're going to fly the VON flag very proudly on our special purpose flag. So thank you.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you, Darlene.
Thank you, Vicki.
Mayor and council.
Who else, is anyone else would like to speak during public question time? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? I do not wish to prevent anyone an opportunity. Steve, can you see anyone that's making any indication through a side panel that they wish to speak?
No, I don't. And they can unmute themselves if they choose to do so.
So if there's anyone in our listening audience who wishes to unmute themselves, you would have a symbol on your screen. Please do so. Anyone who wishes to unmute themselves?
So we do have a hand up with
Okay.
Judy.
So that would be Judy Frail. Yes. So Judy, please give your name and your civic address. And I would like to remind people that we like to have about a 5-minute maximum on these comments. So
Okay.
Judy.
My name's Judy Trail. I'm 9564 Highway 8 in Caledonia. I've been a resident of Queens County my entire life and very proud to be so. This is actually my first time coming to a council meeting. And as most of you know, at least the councillors and the warden, and you, Mayor Norman, I'm here to talk about the noise bylaw. And that I believe before this bylaw is passed, and I do agree we need a bylaw, but I think that it needs some more community input before the bylaw is passed. Just my opinion, but looking on, as Mr. Robinson said, on Facebook, there's been a number of issues brought up there. Just knowing myself, being a farming community, there's a lot of noise around here. If somebody didn't like me and they decided that, you know, I can go out and make a complaint against the farming industry. And there's a lot of things that just have to be brought to light. So I do think that it needs a little more input from the community before it's passed. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mayor, very much, Judy. And I know all of council have heard various inputs and will take all of the inputs into consideration. Anyone else wishes to speak? Steve, do you see any other hands or any indication from those? We have Alan, Aaron, Jason, Jessica, Harvey, Becky. I do not wish to deny anyone the opportunity to speak, and I understand this could be a new process for many. Therefore, I'm going to allow some time.
I currently do not see any other.
You currently do not see any other. So all of our other guests are observers. Okay, that's how it appears. Nothing to, okay. 6.0, approval of the minutes of May 11th, 2021. Could I have a mover?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Moved by Councillor Brown, and I saw a seconder by Councillor Merrow.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin, do we have you here with us?
I'm here.
Perfect. Good. So that was a yes for you?
That was a yes.
Thank you very much. So the minutes are approved. Nothing to report from staff on dangerous and unsightly. 8.0, renaming of property 54 Harley Humphrey Drive. If someone would like to make that motion. Councillor Romero.
I move that the Council of Region of Queens Municipality name the building and property at 54 Harley Humphrey Drive, Liverpool, as Liverpool Business Development Center.
Seconded by Councillor Fancy. And according to the packet, and for those guests of ours, in 2002, the building was built. It's a call center, and it's always been referred to as the call center. Chances of it becoming a call center ever again are near to slight zero. So therefore, it's been decided we need to look at that as a center for economic development, office space, and other compatible uses. I see Jenny is with us. Does anyone have any questions of Jenny? Or Jenny, do you have anything to add to that? Any questions? If not, I'll ask for the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
Contrary? Passed. Corporate services. Second reading, bylaw number 7, bylaw prohibiting certain noises, and there is a recommendation in the package. Someone would.
Yes, I'll read it.
Councillor Gidney had his hand up.
Yes. The recommendation that the Council of the Region of Queens Municipality gives second reading to a bylaw respecting noise.
Seconded by Councillor Brown.
Madam Mayor.
Comments, please. Yes, Deputy
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to refer this motion to an ad hoc committee comprising of Councillor Amero, Councillor Brown, Councillor Charlton, and 2 Queens County residents from the public, the bylaw officer, CAO, and input from the RCMP to review all public feedback and that the committee bring back recommendations to the noise bylaw.
I'll second that motion.
That's seconded by Councillor Charlton. So because we're unable to see this motion in order, I just want to review that with you, Deputy Mayor Muse. So you have made a referral that there be an ad hoc committee formed made up of councillors
Amero, Brown, and
Charlton, 2 Queens County residents
from the public.
Our bylaw officer.
Yes. CAO.
Our CAO.
And input from the RCMP.
And RCMP will on the committee as well.
And input. I talked to the RCMP and they didn't think that they could put anybody right on it, but they're going to give us input. And I know they have already. So. And
that is input. So that is a motion that has been made by Deputy Mayor Muse, and it's been seconded by Councillor Charlton, was it?
Yes.
No.
Questions?
Now, is there any discussion on the motion made by Deputy Mayor Muse?
I'll comment on this.
Councillor Charlton and then Councillor Fancy.
I think that this is critical for this bylaw proposal. We've heard many concerns from residents about it not being easy to read, not easy to understand, with the interpretation of one neighbor deciding if another neighbor is loud and that being considered as affecting the whole community, about it being too restrictive with daytime controls, with farming concerns, enforcement issues, fireworks being too strict. I don't believe that it's ready to go forward. So I fully support this motion and I think it's a great idea.
Councillor Fancy, you had a comment?
Yes, a couple things because I don't really fully understand. We say that we get a motion on the floor for the second reading. So we're going to be going to voting on this. Would this be called an amendment?
No, it's a referral. And if we refer to an ad hoc committee, then all discussion on the second reading ends until the ad hoc committee comes back with their report.
Further to that, that means that we do not vote on the second reading tonight.
Exactly.
The only other concern to me was we only have 2 people from the public. I wish there were 1 from each district, but you know, if that's what the council wants, I can go with that.
Any other comments?
I'd like to comment.
Yes, yes, Deputy Mayor Muse.
The reason I put 2 down, I find that hopefully, like Councillor Mero's district, Brown, and Charlton's districts are going to be covered. So hopefully we can get 2 other people from the other 2 districts, or 3 districts, sorry. And, you know, well, I don't know how we're going to do it. We'll have to post to see if anybody's interested in taking the job, but that's why I did only 2. So.
Any questions of Deputy Mayor Muse? Councillor Fancy.
It goes back to when Judy came on and said about it in the farming district. A lot of times if you don't have somebody from each district, you don't know all the unique circumstances in each district. So it could be something like getting up early in the morning and running tractors and things where it'd be farming weather. So if we got to make sure that we're covering everything that could be part of, when we want to do it, we want to do it right.
And I believe, since this is Deputy Mayor Muse's ad hoc committee, then Deputy Mayor Muse, this will be your responsibility to find those community members?
Yes, and like I said, you know, if Judy would want to be on the committee, she can put in for it, or somebody from that district. Like I said, no.
And CAO McNeil, you have been listed as a member of that committee. Could I have your opinion on that?
Staff will implement whatever direction council decides.
Thank you, CAO McNeil. Any further comments on the formation of an ad hoc committee? Understanding there is no time length on when this committee will report back. And until we hear back from them and it goes through this council proceeding again, the current noise bylaw that we have will stand. Everyone is aware of that, correct?
Right.
Okay, are we ready? Councillor Hawks?
Yeah, I'd like to see somebody from this district on that committee, right?
Councillor Hawks, you're in a great position to round someone up from your district to put forward to be on that committee, and the details will be coming out through Kevin and staff.
Okay.
Everybody else satisfied with that?
Councillor Miro has her hand up.
Okay, Councillor Miro.
I agree. I'd like to see a committee. I think this should have been done in the first place, actually, before it was even brought before council. We've heard a lot of, we've had a lot of emails. We've had a lot of complaints. We've heard a lot over the last week. And I do believe that there should be a couple more people put in from other districts as well. This is very complex, and I think it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of research before we can actually put something forward that most of the residents of Queens are happy with, and they definitely are not happy with what is proposed.
Exactly.
Okay, my comments, and then Councillor Gidney. My comments is staff did what they were told to do. They took direction from council, they created this bylaw, and they brought it forward. And we've heard from it since then. There is a motion on the floor citing that it will be who the committee will be made from. If someone wishes to change that motion, then they need to make an amendment to it. But I do have the sense of feeling that the majority of council are happy with the makeup. But if somebody wishes to make an amendment to the makeup of the committee, they are more than free to do so. Councillor, your light's on. Did you have something to say?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I agree with the Deputy Mayor's recommendation. This is something that I believe that we have to do. And I echo Councillor Charlton that this has to be put in place, because there are so many factors here that we have to reconsider and to address the concerns that we have received. So I'm in support. Thank you.
Are we ready for the question?
Okay. Mayor Norman.
Councillor Charlton.
So the motion currently reads for 2 members from the public. So I don't know if there really is consensus for that 2 members or not. So if we look at what is being represented for districts, out of 7 districts, we have myself for 3, Vicky for 4, sorry, myself for 3, Councillor Miro for 4, Councillor Brown for 6, which would leave 1, 2, 7, and 5 vacant. So if we wish for representation from every district, then we could change that motion to 4, which would cover every single district in our community.
Councillor Charlton, just to speak back on that, as members of council, I do not see us as public representatives, as the public, as who Kevin referred to. The council members are there as council, and he referred to 2 people as public. So therefore, if somebody wishes to make an amendment, please make an amendment. Otherwise, I'm going to call for question on the motion as it was made. Councillor Fancy.
Yeah, I know we have 3 different councilors on there, and you can say they're representing a district, but I still think I would like to see a member of the public from our 7 districts. And so I'd like to make an amendment to the motion. We have a member of the public from every district.
The motion has been amended to include a representative from every district on the committee. Is there a seconder for that amendment?
I second it.
It's been seconded by Councillor Amaro. Discussion on the amendment, which is only discussion on 7 members of the public representing the 7 districts. That is the only discussion point at this point in time. Does anyone wish to have any discussion on the amendment?
Yes, Darlene, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Muse.
So does that mean we have 7 more plus the 3?
No,
councillors?
There would be 3 councillors and 7 members of the public, plus your bylaw officer, staff McNeil, and input from the RCMP. So it's 7 members of the public is the amendment. And that's what we're speaking on, changing the 2 public members to 7 public members. I'm going to ask for question on the amendment, which will be to change the 2 public members to 7 public members. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of changing from 2 public members to 7 public members, please signify by raising your hand. Passed. So the motion as amended now reads that there be an ad hoc committee made up of 3 councillors, Councillors Amaro, Charlton, and Brown, along with the bylaw officer, our CAO, and 7 members from the public, each representing the district in which they live. Are you ready for the question on that motion? Okay, question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion as amended, signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. Passed. So at this point in time, the noise bylaw is, discussion has ceased. There will be an ad hoc committee formed. When that is done, we'll find out, but we'll have to do advertising for those positions. As council, you'll have to send in how you think we're going to be doing that. And Kevin, Deputy Mayor Muse, you'll be leading the ad hoc committee. Or no, you're not on that ad hoc committee. So I guess among yourself, the 3 councillors will just have to decide who is going to chair and lead that ad hoc committee. You understand? Okay.
Yep. Okay. Mayor Norman, can I?
CEO McNeil.
Can I just seek some clarification? So is it my understanding that council wishes us to publicly advertise for 1 member of the public who's interested in sitting from each electoral district to sit on this committee?
Is that the opinion of council?
Yes. Yes.
There's your answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, CAO McNeil? Okay. So that's that. And I did notice, Judy, I noticed you had your hand up, but the only time the public can speak in the gallery is during the public question comment session. So I know you had wanted to comment during that discussion, but comment is only open to councillors and staff during our meeting. So 10.0, request for a memorial bench at Beach Meadows Beach. And before I call for the recommendation, there was an error in the report. It listed Carla Kolb's death as June 4th, 2020. And that actually was the date at which she had made a post regarding a phrase. And actually Carla died in January 10th of this year. But there is a motion in the packet, and I would like someone to make that recommendation, please. Councillor Ramirez.
I move that the Council of Region of Queens Municipality agree to accept a donation from Gwen Oikel of a granite memorial bench, and that the bench be placed in a mutually agreeable location at Beach Meadows Beach, with the future maintenance being the responsibility of the municipality.
And that's seconded by Councillor Gidney. And as council and perhaps our audience are aware, we do take requests from time to time to for people in our area to honor those who have contributed to Queens by way of a memorial bench, such as Tucker's Park, or perhaps a tree shrub planting. And so Gwen Oikel requested this request, and she will be placing there will be a granite memorial bench placed in Beach Meadows in memory of Carla Cope. So any questions or comments? Councillor Brown.
I think this is a great thing. I think Carla really embodied what we would like to see in Queens County. She was a wonderful person, always quick to lend a hand, to lift somebody up, an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on, a hand to help. This is the least we can do to honor her memory, because she was a wonderful person.
She was indeed.
Yeah.
Councillor Charlton.
I will agree with Councillor Brown. This is a beautiful tribute to Carla Cope, and it couldn't be put at a better place to honor her. So very pleased to see this.
Exactly. So Vic and Councillor Romero.
I'm very pleased to see this. If this passes, Gwen will post a fundraiser. Erica Oikel will take care of the money part and do the updates as donations are received. All donations will be posted for the public to see, and everyone will see when the total is reached. Carla had a big heart, and she was a big part of our community. And I think this is a wonderful thing that Gwen has come up with.
Exactly. Councillor Gidney.
I'd like to echo what everyone has just said. She was a fantastic person. I am so proud that we're doing this. Thank you.
And for those in our listening audience, because you didn't receive our package perhaps, the quote which will be on the granite bench is, "Fearless is about living life to the fullest in spite of being afraid." So on that note, I'm going to call for the question on the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Carried. Policy 11.1, there is a recommendation in the package, and then I'm going to ask our Director of Corporate Services to just give Council a bit of detail on this new investment policy. So if someone would make the motion that's in your package. Councillor Bancy.
I so move that the Council of the Region of Queens Municipality approve Policy 18 respecting investments, and authorize staff to forward the policy to Minister of Municipal Affairs for approval.
And that is seconded by Councillor Gidney. Ms. Vino, are you there?
I certainly am.
Could you give council and our listening audience a bit of background on this updated investment policy?
We used to have an investment policy, as you can tell by the package, from 2004. So it's a bit out of date, and it's my understanding, being new, that we really didn't take the opportunity to look at how best to invest our funds. And what we do have, obviously, committed funds. We have funds that have a long range commitment. So there is the potential for us to generate revenue, interest revenue from those funds. And I think with the fiscal pressure that the region is under, as all municipal units are under, any time we can become more effective with managing our money to create some revenue is a good thing. Right now we get deposit interest only. And I think it's tiered. So the prime rate now is 2.45. So the rate we get is 0.5, 0.4, 0.5, 0.55, and 0.6. So it's very, very low. We've lost tens of thousands of dollars in I shouldn't say lost. The interest rates have gone down a lot in the last 18 months, and we've seen our budgeted interest income decrease significantly, as you will all see when you see the financial statements. So this is a way of us to kind of take back control. Any investments that we choose to make will be, of course, at the direction of council and also the Audit and Internal Control Committee. So it's very specific on what we can and cannot do. Obviously, there will be zero risk in terms of capital. Everything will be per the Municipal Government Act. So we're limited. We can't just go and buy stocks. That's a no. But having this investment policy is really what we need just to get us going so that we can take advantage of the opportunities that we haven't been taking advantage of in the past.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vino. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Vino? Councillor Fancy.
Yes, Joanne, when we say this, because I guess in the past we kind of stayed in one direction and not looked around so much. What are we looking at here? Are we looking at something to try to get a 1 year? Do we want 5-year plan? What kind of a commitment are you going to be looking at, or is that going to be just up in the air to how the economy is going?
Councillor Fancy, I think once we have our alternatives out in front of us, it will be a decision of all of us. I will present the alternatives. I'm sure there will be some short and some longer term. It's really going to depend on the mix that we're offered and our financial situation, because of course you don't want to leave yourself short of funds. So we have to manage the liquidity. You know, we have to have money to pay our bills, etc. So it really is about finding out all the different options that are available to us and maximizing those options for the region.
Any other comments of Ms. Vino?
No.
No. Hearing none, I'm going to ask for the question. All those in favor of the motion as presented signify by raising your hand. Deputy Mayor Muse. Is he there or gone?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're always just checking in to make sure you're there. Motion passed. Nothing under Recreation and Healthy Communities, though the Bird Book Walk over in Pine Grove is getting lots of attention, and Pine Grove is absolutely beautiful. Nothing to report under planning. There are two reports under reports. First one being 14.1, the Council Implementation Report. And as you all are aware, these are the motions that have been made over the last, that have not either been dealt with and ready to go. Most of them are all ready to move off of this report. So that's a great report. And 14.2, there is a recommendation. Randy Dickey spoke to the importance of the VON and VON week. If somebody would so like to make that recommendation as it's in your package. Councillor Gidney.
I so move that the Council of the Region of Queens Municipality approve the application made by the Victorian Order of Nurses Canada to have the VON Canada flag flown on the Special Purposes flagpole located on Henry Hensey Drive, Liverpool, for 1 week period from May 25th through to June 1st, 2021.
And that is seconded by Councillor Brown. He had his hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions, any further comments regarding VON week? I know we all know people who work in that sector and who volunteer, and what a great community we have. So I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
Passed. To our listening audience, we have one in-camera item, lease of municipal property. We are going to put the Zoom meeting on hold because we will be coming back out of the in-camera, or we suspect to be, at which time we will resume our council meeting. Councilors are going to call in on that conference call. Please ensure that you're using a landline only.
Okay.
No cell phones, landline only for the conference call. I have no idea how long the conference call will take, but Steve is going to record us, and we're going to be put on hold, and then we will resume for Zoom. Everyone, I'd like to welcome back. This is 16.1, lease of municipal property. There is a recommendation. If somebody would so make that recommendation, please. Councillor Charlton.
I move that Council of Region of Queens Municipality enter into a lease agreement with Belleville Vino Inc. for space at 54 Harley Humphrey Drive, Liverpool.
And that's seconded by Councillor Brown. So for our listening public and for our minutes, Steve Burns, who is manager of events, promotion, and sponsorship, now is responsible for all lease arrangements that we have with our properties. And he's been very diligent searching for a tenant for the call center. He's been successful in obtaining Belleville Vino for 48 square feet of that center at fair market value. And we are pleased to finally be moving forward with that space and having some cash flow come into it. Are there any, Steve, are you with us or are you no longer here? I don't think he's here. So are there any comments that perhaps CAO McNeil could answer if anyone has any comments to make? Any comments? Councillor Fancy and then Councillor Brown.
I think you said 48 square feet. It's 4,800. A little bit more.
Square feet. Did I say
a little bit more?
4,800 square feet. Thank you.
But it's a great thing. I mean, Steve has been at this job a very short time, and we've already had some things happen, and that's exciting because we've been waiting on this for a long time. Maybe this will start things rolling to be able to, and everybody else looking to say, hey, maybe this could be a happening place.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Anyone that's interested in contact Steve because we have space available. Councillor Brown.
I want to echo what Jack said. This is a great thing. They've done an awesome amount of work. It's not an easy environment to attract new business. So for them to do it under the system, under the conditions we're in now, speaks highly for what they're capable of, and I commend them well for it.
Thank you. And I see other councillors nodding their heads in agreement.
Yes.
So are we ready for the question?
Yes.
I'll ask for question on the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Thank you, Deputy Muse. Contrary? Passed. And that ends the council meeting of Tuesday, May the 25th. Our next council meeting will be the second Tuesday in June at 9 a.m. And I see that would be the second Tuesday is the 8th. I think our restrictions go until the 9th or something, do they not? So uncertain if we're still going to be in Zoom land or in our chambers.
Right.
Wherever we are, please remind our citizens to get a hold of you for anything you have. We're always here. Good night. Take care. End the meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye.